it's me, Canadensis. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I post new doll and toy related videos multiple times every week. And in today's video, I think we just need to have a little talk. So I might say things that are a little bit harsh in this one. And I'm also just going to kind of be talking. So if either of those things will bother you and you're going to type something in my comments mad at me, I'm going to match your energy or block you. Like, I don't care. Just leave. You don't have to agree with me. These are my opinions. This is coming from someone who's been in the collector space for a long time, especially in the kind of modern collector space. I've watched all of this develop. I've been through this rodeo 100 times. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying, and it might be a little bit of tough love. And please don't use this video as inspiration to attack anyone at all. That is not the message of this. If you do that, you're lame. Sorry, like, don't. Anyway. Today's video topic is the reseller issue. This morning, once again, there was another Mean Girls Bratz doll, the Regina George one, and of course, she sold out instantly and nobody got her. And we're all blaming everything. We're blaming the resellers. We're blaming MGA. We're blaming the website. We're blaming the captchas. All of those things are contributing factors. Absolutely they are, but there's ways to curb these issues, and it's not yelling at the company. It's not buying the doll from a reseller immediately because you missed out. Those aren't really going to work. They're actually going to make the problem worse. MGA, I'm sorry to say this. From a business perspective, why would they stop these bots? They're getting all the sales either way. They're selling out instantly. That's good publicity for them. It makes it where stores in the future will see like, oh, you sold out of however many thousand of that doll in 5 minutes. When I order my store exclusive Bratz doll, I'm going to want 20,000, let's say. It's just good business. They don't care. Truly, they do not care. Even a little bit. If you missed out, I'm sorry. You in their comments yelling at them. I wish they cared. If I were a doll maker and I designed something and it sold out instantly only to resellers, I would be really mad and I would try to fix it. But at the end of the day, these are businesses and they need to make money. They want to make money. That's why they're doing this. And that sucks, right? We enjoy dolls for a lot of reasons. I hope that it's not just for profit. And designers aren't designing them for that either. The designer's bank account really is not affected if their doll, when they're contracted to work for MGA, sells out instantly and makes however many thousands of dollars, right? Or $1 million or whatever. Ultimately, their job is really probably not going to be affected at all. They might get like a pat on the back, right? They don't care. I mean, they probably care in a way, to be clear, like, oh, my creation did so well, I'm happy, but I don't know. The resellers aren't necessarily the problem. Now, they are the problem, but they're a symptom of a different problem. This is an environment that we're curating here. Why? I want to ask you, like, seriously, if there was a way for you to just get something super easily, and if you don't end up getting it, you've lost nothing. You get it, and you instantly make back double, triple, quadruple, quintuple your investment within a day. Why wouldn't you do it, right? I think these resellers are losers. I really do. The majority of them are these like podcast watching douchebags that like get all gung-ho and like, I'm so cool and special. It's embarrassing. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I think a lot of these people, at least the ones that I've seen, they're embarrassing. Like, they truly have that like going on. And I can't elaborate too much because I can't do it in YouTube safe terms, but they're losers. They're preying on you, right? But you're the prey. So why are you rewarding them? I'm going to give you an example from the other day, like literally, I think it was a month ago. The Alice Midnight Masquerade Disney doll. She looks like this. Strangely, she sold out really fast and a ton of people missed out and everyone was really confused. I don't know if anyone was super confused. I was super confused because I was like, nobody liked Midnight Masquerade. Even the like 2-packs didn't really sell out super quickly. So if you look, I'll show you the eBay prices when Alice first dropped and sold out instantly. Look, these resellers paid $140-ish for the doll if they got the free shipping, if they know about Ship Magic. They paid $140. They instantly made double, easily. That day, super painless. They're going to do it again. Of course they will, right? Why wouldn't you? It's almost no work. All you have to do is get the doll. Oh, she's in the box. Perfect. Slap a label on it. Ship it. That's all you have to do. You don't even have to package the thing. It's already in the box, right? Like, slap a label on it, send it off. You're done. That's it. You paid whatever fees, you paid for the shipping, and you paid for the item. You probably doubled your investment pretty easily in these collector spaces. Ultimately, that's generally what they end up going for. A couple days later, the doll went back in stock. And now, even before the doll went back in stock, like, look what the prices were. Like, I'm scrolling through. And now the doll is basically selling for retail when you consider that the sellers are also paying shipping and fees and all of this stuff. They're not making any money. Did they come back for the other releases? No, they didn't. All of the other dolls stayed in stock for a very long time or are still in stock as we speak. Now, all of these characters are not Alice. Alice is a more popular character. She's rarer to see, and she's not like a villain or a doll. Like, people don't generally buy the villains or the boy dolls as much. So, you know, there are factors here, but there was Ariel. Ariel's not selling for $300, I don't think. She didn't sell out for a long time either. Logically, as a reseller, if I were paying attention, I would have gotten Ariel, Alice, and Snow White. When I picked up Alice and I noticed, oh, I was not one of the lucky ones that just doubled my investment, I made $10. Was that worth my trip to the post office? No, not really. I'm scared this next one, the Queen of Hearts, is not going to sell for a whole lot. Or I'm scared that Snow White is clearly not as popular as Ariel. I'm not going to pick that one up. I'm not going to do that. So the way that we stop these people is by not buying from them. And if you watch consistently, this happened with Katie Bratz from like whenever that was, a month ago. It was October 3rd, duh. The prices have fallen already because the resellers, they want it out. They want the stock out because these are people that are living well above their means. I guarantee you, do not have a healthy savings account or healthy finances. I mean, we're doll collectors, do we? But you know, their business model is they buy it and they instantly make back at least double what they paid for it, right? So if you're rewarding that behavior, they're going to keep doing it. Of course they will. Why would you not want to live this lifestyle where you're just like printing money and your customers are the ones that are working a real job? When people comment, get a real job, why would they? You're working the real job and they're making a huge hefty profit off of you and your real job. I can't even like, again, I think they're annoying. I think they're dumb. I think they're cringe. They're generally those like specific bro types. I don't like them and I'm not trying to defend them in any way. Please don't take this that way. But tell me why you wouldn't. Even if we all go in and call them stupid and lame and ugly and whatever you want to call them and tell them to get a real job. You're the sucker with the real job. He's the sucker that logs in every morning for a limited edition sneaker or Bratz doll release and doesn't have to work a real job. Or if he does work a real job, he has an even better, like his side hustle is making more money than his real job, right? Why would they work the real job? I'm just being real. Like, how many of those Katie Bratz dolls have sold? Every time I see someone post about like a doll that has just sold out, they instantly go to eBay, check the sold listings and show like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, look at the prices. But I'm sorry, I'm not faulting the resellers. I don't like them either. I don't want them here, but they're a symptom of a problem. And the problem is this FOMO culture where like, oh, I missed out on this doll. I actually got this doll first try. I think she was $75. Was she worth $75? I don't know, but I decided that $75 was worth it to me to have this doll. If I'd missed out, would I have paid, what, $300 does she go for now? No, she's just not worth that. If I really desperately needed to have her, I would probably order a custom of her or just wait. Ultimately, wait. Just wait. The prices fluctuate, they fall, they rise. Watch them, you'll get to know the trends. I always know that I need to be more cautious with, say, a Draculaura release than, say, the Frankenstein release that Monster High did. I always know I need to be more diligent when it's an Ariel or an Elsa doll versus a, like, I'm trying to think of, like Aurora. She kind of does, but, like, you know, I know that the Elsa doll will sell out before the Anna doll, so I'm going to go for the Elsa doll first, always. I'm just going to. There's just certain things that you kind of get used to and you get aware of. So, and my little secret here, you haven't really seen me miss out on a lot of limited edition releases, right? Like, I generally get them pretty easily. If I didn't get them, I waited long enough and was able to get them secondhand for a good price. I've been very fortunate with the few that I've ever missed out on. Someone else had an extra and sold them to me for basically the retail price, or my mom gifted them to me or something. But what I do, and this might not work for everyone, it really depends on your situation, but I've got my mom, I've got my mom's friend, I've got my stepmom, and I've got my brother sometimes, and my stepdad. Everyone will try. So, like, this doll, I got really lucky. I was the only one and we got her. If this doll happened today, I would be calling up the entire posse and being like, hey, we're on 10 a.m. Let's do this. I call them all. Hey, are you ready? It's in 10 minutes. We've got our battle stations. Like, we are ready to get these dolls. And then if I get extras, I know my friends aren't going to resell them out from under me. You can have them for retail. And I've done that many times. Several of my friends have missed out before, and I've been able to get them the dolls for retail, and it's been great. I will say, though, that you might get stuck with extras. Like, so obviously the 5 people example is extreme. The most I've ever had actually try at a time was 3, and I ended up with 1 doll that time, funny enough. Well, one of those times. I usually end up with 1 or 2, and if I get an extra one of my friends will probably want them, or I'll just hold on to them until one of my friends wants them. You have to be careful with this, though. Like, this strategy, you have to be a little bit careful, because if the doll doesn't resell well, you might be stuck with them for a long time, because none of your friends that missed out are going to get it from you, because they could just get it from eBay for the same price or cheaper, right? And also, if you are like, oh, hey, I got an extra, I don't need this, none of my friends want this one, it's selling for $200 on eBay, I'm gonna put it up for $120 to be nice, because I paid $90, I'm still making a profit. Someone's gonna buy that from you and resell it. It's happened to me before. I used to buy big lots of Winx dolls, and then I would restore them, get them all prettied up, make them complete with the different pieces that I have, and then sell them. I wish I could call out the names so bad, but it would just be petty and unnecessary. But there's like other content creators in the Winx space that did this to me, that bought dolls from me and then instantly sold them on their eBay for double the profit. And I was like, okay, no more. You guys, like, you ruined it. Congrats. I remember a specific one. It was a new in-box Winx doll. It was the Stella Blevix doll, and I was like, I wanted to keep her, but ultimately I was like, okay, I'm not really an in-box collector. I really like having this doll in box, but I would rather keep Tekna. I don't know. The doll at the time was selling for, I think, $120. I sold her for $60 because that is the price that I would pay. I like to sell things for the price that I would pay. I'm the dummy, right? Because that person that bought her, and I packaged her with so much care. I included a cute little note, if I recall correctly, like, ugh. Anyway, guess what I saw on eBay from that exact person that bought it from me a week later? My doll. So you do have to be careful with something like that. There's a balance to this, because you don't want to benefit somebody else who's just gonna like pull a fast one on you like that. But like, I don't know. So it's difficult there. I know a lot of people want 2 of the dolls anyway, because they like to have one in box and one out of box. And like, if you don't end up with a double, then it's whatever. But I don't know. That's my specific strategy. If you've seen me get a doll, but it was like a week later, it's because my mom got the doll and I didn't, and then my mom just shipped the doll to me or something. Or with the Haunt Couture dolls, there were several that I did not get at all. I think it was Frankie and Claudine, actually. My mom was oh no, that was a weird situation. But anyway, I think my mom was successful and I wasn't, and it was because I was moving at the time, so I didn't want them to ship to my old house. So she just ended up bringing them to me later. But like, you can't be rewarding these people if you guys continue. And I'm not trying to be like, if you have done this before, I understand, right? This hobby is very item based, right? Like, you've seen all the ads for this doll. You love Elvira. Elvira's your favorite. You're the true fan. And like, I get it. I do. And when you see everybody else got the doll and you didn't, it's like, oh my God, this sucks. I really want that one. This one is truly special to me. I should have her. I'm gonna make the sacrifice. But please consider looking at your other grails. It's funny because like, most people would never spend $300 on an individual doll, and that's why their grails stay grails. But then during FOMO season, after like Bratz Katie came out, they were so devastated that they missed out that they were like, this is gonna be worth it to me. I need to have that doll. Everybody else got that doll. I really want that doll. I'm the Mean Girls fan. And I completely understand where that comes from, but I promise you, these resellers are not the types of people that have a closet full of dolls that they know are going to appreciate and value, and they're holding on to for the next 10 years so that they can trade them for better dolls. They're not doing that. I'm sorry to say, they're not. They want it gone immediately. Some of them might be smart enough to think, oh, if I hold on to this doll for 10 years, like this random, like, there was a Draculaura doll, the Skulltimate Secrets Wave 1 Draculaura. I have an extra one just because I cut the bangs on mine, so I bought an extra, but I never unboxed her. I still do have her, to be clear. I'm not selling her, but I'm like sitting there like, should I unbox her now? She's selling for a ton right now for no reason. I know the reason is Draculaura, right? naturally that happens. So an investment collector, in theory, would have tracked these patterns. It's Draculaura. She'll probably be worth more. I think Ultimate Secrets 2 is too. Buy up a bunch of them and then sell them maybe a year later and be able to, you know, like, I respect the investment person way more than I do the person who is flipping it like the next day, because they're not doing anything. They're not maintaining an inventory. They're not running any kind of actual business. I doubt they're even paying taxes on it. They're just they're just flipping. It's flipping. And again, why would you not flip if you could? Why? So next time FOMO season hits, I implore you, I'm begging you, I promise you, you don't need the doll. And I know coming from me, that's rich. I have thousands of dolls, right? But do you, like, if you really sit with yourself, think about what that $300 could do for you, right? Or let's say the $240 because you were planning to spend the $60 on the Bratz doll. What could you do with that $300 that would make you so much happier? Could you get other dolls that you would love more or that are better? Could you save it for the next release? Could you wait, say, like, I think even Katie fell already. Wasn't she at, like, I don't know what she was selling for originally. I know she was originally getting listed for up to $500, but I'm pretty sure that price has already fallen on Katie because these people just want them gone. They just want that return on their investment instantly so they can use that money on the next thing. I sincerely doubt these people are saving any kind of money. I've never heard of them doing that. I promise you, there is another doll that you will like more if you're willing. Like, if you're like, you know what, it has to be this $300. I have to spend this right now. It's burning a hole in my pocket. That's a great position to be in, I guess. If you have like $300, that's just like, wow, I need to get rid of this right now. You could buy like 10 really good dolls from the 2000s for that price. You could buy a bunch of your wishlist Monster High dolls from G1 for that price. You could buy a bunch of really nice Bratz dolls for that price. That doll's not worth $300. Like, I'm sorry. If I missed out on this doll, I would never have her because it's like, she's just not worth $300 to me. And I'm so sorry if you love this doll. I think she's gorgeous. I do like her a lot, but is she worth $300? Like, seriously, talk to me on this one. Like, I know she's worth that. That's the value that people are paying for her. But when people stop paying that, she's not worth that anymore, right? Think about, like, all of these collector Barbie dolls. And the biggest part here, the collector Barbie dolls from the 90s. Everybody was, like, in this collector craze in the 90s and the early 2000s. They were like, okay, Beanie Babies, look how expensive those are. 80s Star Wars, look how expensive those are. We got to do this. This is the key to retirement. I'm going to pay my kids' college tuition with these Beanie Babies. This is going to be excellent. And all I have to do is go to Walgreens, buy a couple of little Beanie Babies and hold on to them for 10 years. And then I'm going to be a millionaire. What happened? Have you ever gone into a thrift store and not seen a Beanie Baby? Have you ever gone into an antique mall and not seen them for like $2? Have you ever gone to a garage sale and not seen them? If you live in specific parts of the US, I don't think so. At least, well, now they're becoming more scarce, but they're still very cheap. It's just that they're finally getting bought up by people because of nostalgia again. But nobody ever saw the return on their investments. They lost money. When I was a kid, and that was 2006, 2007 that I'm talking about, every time we went to a garage sale, and this is only a couple years after the Beanie Baby craze. Well, not a couple years, but like less than 10 years after the Beanie Baby craze, I'm pretty sure. We had so many Beanie Babies when I was a kid because we would go to garage sales and there would be a giant tote, like a tote bin, under every single person's little white table that they had where we could pick out the Beanie Babies. We'd have hundreds to choose from and pick out all our favorites. Ooh, I like this little fish one. I like this little beetle one. I like this dragon one. Ooh, this white dragon would go with that one. We had so many Beanie Babies because they were so cheap. That's going to happen with this stuff. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. The Pennywise and the twins Monster High dolls were not bought up by very many resellers. I don't have your number. I don't know how much. I don't even know how many of those things were made. I only know there were 500 of each that had the prints. But, you know, I was there at the time. Monster High dolls were seen as bad among resellers. Do not buy those because of all of the flop releases that had come before, specifically like G2 era, end of G1. They weren't really hitting like they used to. So the resellers were like, let's avoid this. So the only people that really bought those dolls were doll collectors. When only doll collectors buy something, the price, because the doll collectors aren't letting it go. They're not letting it go. They want it. And when they do let it go, I don't want to let it go unless it's for this price, right? So the reason Pennywise and the Grady Twins Monster High dolls are so expensive right now, I guarantee you, is because And the resellers that did participate, there, I guarantee there were plenty. They got their instant FOMO gratification. They got the money back instantly, so they came back for the later releases. But I'll tell you, like, the Haute Couture dolls like Draculaura, they were not that hard to get. There really weren't that many resellers yet. The resellers are in full swing now, but occasionally there's a doll that just flops and nobody wants. Like, Midnight Runway Haute Couture. We all knew those were going to flop. As collectors, we were like, that's fine. Off-White Monster High, we knew that those were not going to sell it instantly. They were too expensive and the collectors didn't like them. The resellers just saw another Monster High doll, unless they're doing intense market research. They just saw another Monster High doll and were like, okay, big money. And then they buy it. It was $150 and they can't even sell it for $150. If you want one of those Off-White Monster High dolls, by the way, I don't know how it's going now, but I was able to get 2 of them under retail easily on eBay because resellers were trying to get rid of them. They were like, I just need this gone. Less than a year after they came out. So, like, you obviously need to pay attention. If you miss out on Draculaura, sorry. You might not be able to get that one anytime soon. I'm so sorry. But when only collectors buy something, it gets so much more expensive because the collectors they hold on to their stuff for life. But the 90s Barbie dolls, they were bought by a lot of collectors, sure, but they were all kept in box. They were all kept perfect-ish. They were mostly bought as kind of investment collections. I don't know how many of these collections I see all over the place constantly at antique malls and flea markets and stuff were from doll collectors. They're so cheap now. The Kenner Star Wars, everybody who bought, or sorry, not Kenner, the Hasbro, I believe the ones that came out in the like late 90s, early 2000s, every single person that was buying them bought them in box, got an extra set to keep out of box, bought an extra set to sell in case they were worth something. My dad did it. And now they're like cheaper than retail to this day. And I'm not even accounting for inflation. They're just like, they retailed for like $10. They're $5, like all of them. All of them. There's some that got more expensive, but I can kind of predict that too. Like, I knew Monster High was very over-collected, and I kind of knew which ones to buy, and I knew, like, okay, certain playsets are going to be worth more in the future because people don't keep playsets together, and collectors generally don't buy playsets. I didn't prioritize those. I didn't have the money at the time, but now I know, and I pay more attention to that sort of thing, and I kind of know what's happening with that. And it really just depends. You could use all of the advice in the world from what happened with, say, Mycene, and it'd be totally wrong, right? Like, Thundercats, the ones that came out at the very end of the line, Stinger and I don't remember the other one, they're worth an insane amount of money because they made less of them. If it's the end of the line, they're just, get rid of all this stock, we're done, get out of it, like, we're done. The Mermaids, Slumber Party dolls are going to be like that. That's what happened with Novi Stars and Arctic and Inferno and Doe Deer and all of them. I'm pretty sure they only came out of Europe. If they came out anywhere else, it was in extremely limited quantities. Even in Europe, it was extremely limited. So they made way less of them. They were in a market that's inaccessible to a lot of the collecting community in America. Those dolls sell for an insane amount now. And even, I'm not even saying like they sell for a ridiculous amount just because I see them selling for that. There's also like none of them. There's some dolls that like Fiona Finns from Bratz, for example. How many times do I remember going to Ross and seeing the same doll that was not selling at Ross for $7 of Fiona Finns? And I wanted her, but I was like, I'm not collecting Bratz. I'm collecting Monster High and Winx. So I left her behind every time. I just recently learned that, like, there's no listings for that doll. My friend was selling one, and I was like, how much? And, when I heard the price, I was like, what? So I went to check eBay, and there was not a single one on eBay at the time. Not one. Not one. And not a lot of sold listings to go off of either. That doll was everywhere. And that happens with a lot of clearance dolls, too, because clearance dolls don't really, like, collectors don't necessarily buy them, so dolls that were stuck on clearance for a long time, collectors are obviously buying them, some collectors are buying them, but they mostly go to like random kids, so there's a lot of doll lines that are basically impossible to find online, but you can find them in thrift stores fairly regularly. Bratzillas are not that. I don't know where the Bratzillas are. I don't know where the Novi Stars are. Pinky Cooper, I find at thrift stores all the time. Bratzillas, Novi Stars, I have no idea. So like, you kind of have to pay attention. When I was younger, luckily I bought all the Pinky Cooper dolls because I loved them and I could not leave them behind. That wasn't even strategic at all. If I was strategic, I would have slowed down on the Monster High. I would have focused way more on Winx. I would have focused way more on stuff like Pinky Cooper. But I was a kid and I was enjoying them. And ultimately, like, when I say what I'm prioritizing, I'm not saying that because, oh, I want to make money in the future. Do you see me selling my dolls? I'm not selling them. I don't plan on selling them anytime soon. And when I sell them, if I make back exactly what I paid for them, I'm happy. Because the price that I paid for these dolls, even if they're worth $2 in the future, the value of them is the value to me. So if I paid, I think this doll was $60. I paid $60 for her. She's worth $60 to me. That's what I paid for her. so that I could enjoy her. It wasn't so I could sell her 3 years later. Like, that's not how it works to me, and I understand completely if that's how it works to you, that's totally valid, but, like, as long as you make back what you paid, considering you held on to the doll for several years and enjoyed it, I don't think that's a bad deal. I don't know. We're kind of off topic a little bit, but I wanted to say that there's doll lines that were not really bought by collectors or people planning to like investment collect. Investment collecting kind of stopped being a thing after Beanie Babies. I think people figured it out. Monster High people were doing it though. So I'm a little bit surprised how expensive Monster High remains. Ever After High is very cheap though. I didn't want to say it out loud, but go look for Ever After High dolls if you want any. Just go look. Just see what's going on. They're very cheap right now, even in box. But investment collectors were doing Monster High and Ever After High, and they're being rewarded for it. Usually that investment collector thing is very like on the hype. I'm just buying it because it's part of this hype thing and I know it's going to be worth money because it's worth money now. And then it's not worth money again. And then they don't do it again. And it's like a warning to the future generations, like with the Beanie Babies. We're not going to buy those. They didn't sell. That was a disaster. I don't want to deal with that. I don't even want to deal with not being able to sell these things for 1/5 of what I paid for them for years, and they're stuck in my garage for years, and then I finally put them in the thrift store, and they're at the thrift store for months, and nobody wants them. I don't want to deal with all that. But with Monster High, interestingly, because the bandwagon came back, the bandwagon died, and you could get most Monster High dolls, including Comic-Con ones, right before the these dolls came out. Or not these, the twins and Pennywise, right before those came out. Oh my god. You could get, like, the collector Abby doll. I want that doll so bad. She was $60 and I didn't buy her because I was like, I think she'll go down in price more. But I wasn't predicting this collector bubble that COVID would cause where everything. So I've failed to predict things. I'm not infallible or anything, and I'm not trying to be like, I know everything. I'm just trying to give you like practical advice from someone who's here, who's done it before. When I'm prioritizing, hey, I want to buy Draculaura first, it's not because I necessarily like Draculaura first or I think I'm gonna make more money off of her or something. Nothing like that. It's just that I think Draculaura, if one were to sell out first, it would be Draculaura. So I'm going to get her first, and then I'll get the others, because I know they're not going to sell out. I think that's practical. It's logical if you plan to get all of them. If you don't plan to get all of them, and you don't want Draculaura, don't get Draculaura. Don't be that guy. I think we all... ultimately, what I'm trying to say is, as a community, if we all just stop, and I know I can't stop everyone, but if there's only, like, 100 people, let's say, that do the FOMO shopping and buy Regina Mean Girls Bratz the minute she sells out, if there's only 100 of those resellers won, and they've picked up on that and seen that all of the other ones are dropping in price dramatically, and they will not probably have that return on investment when Gretchen and Karen come out, whenever that is happening. They won't do it again because they're not getting the return on investment. Their entire business model is like dangling by a thread, and you could easily cause it to break and make them stop and get a real job by just not buying it. That's it. I'm sorry. Like, I understand completely. It sucks to see all of your friends got the doll that you want and they're all enjoying the doll and you can't have it, and it sucks to be like, okay, I just need to wait. I just need to see if the prices fall, and it sucks even more when the prices never fall, because this current generation of collectors, I think, they see that the doll is $300 right now, and they think, well, it's going to be worth $300 for the rest of my life. No, it's not. I'm sorry. Nobody's going to care about Mean Girls. Not that many people are going to care about Bratz like that. When I see, like, Barbie dolls that aren't the first Barbie doll that's extremely limited and everybody wants her, but, like, amazing Barbie dolls from the 70s, you can get, like, amazing ones in perfect condition, sometimes even in box, for less than people are paying for, like, a basic Bratz doll, or, like, the limited edition Formal Funk dolls where there's, what, 450,000 of each of them or something? That's the limited edition. There's not that many of any doll from the 70s, I don't think. There's not that many of the 60s Barbies dolls by any means, but I feel more comfortable paying $100 for a 60s Barbie doll than I ever would paying $100 for a Bratz doll. I've never done it. I have a huge collection. You guys like to see my big collection and all of my finds. And I always tell you, you can ask me what I paid for every doll in my collection, and I'll tell you, and I'm being honest, and I can prove it, unless it was like a thrift store find. I guess I can't prove it. You just have to take my word for it. If you saw the video where I got in a thrift store, logically I paid like $5 for it. But like, you don't have to spend all this money to get them. You don't have to buy them immediately. You just don't. And at some point, I'm serious, all of these resellers that are stuck with these stupid Mean Girls Bratz dolls that they don't want, and all of these collectors that FOMO bought these and actually don't like them that much and want to try to get their money back, are gonna start listing them on eBay, and the price is gonna it's gonna swan dive. And you'll feel worse when you see that than you ever would from never getting the doll, and I can promise you that, because you're gonna be sitting there like, what could I have done with that extra $100 that I would have had I not bought that doll immediately? And that happened with the Alice in Wonderland. I'm serious, like $60 you could have saved if you just waited. Even if you missed out on the restock, you could have saved that $60 by buying one of the reseller ones that's now basically retail. $60 is a lot of money. You could buy, and if it's not a lot of money to you, that's still another doll or two or three. That's still half of an investment on another amazing limited edition doll. I've seen amazing, gorgeous customizers that do repaints that I've bought from. I've advertised them on my channel before that were like $60. I would much rather spend $60 on that than I would on a Disney doll that's gonna be the same as every other Disney doll that I have. That, I mean, she's not the same. I would want her, obviously, but like, was she worth the $100? Very few of them were. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love them. They're worth the $100 to me, but if I sit here and compare, not this one's infallible, but if I compare like one of my other dolls that I spent $100 on versus those, they don't always compare. Sometimes there's like, some of my Mycene dolls are high quality than my like Disney limited editions that I spent $140 on. The reason I spend $140 on them is ultimately because that's the minimum that I would have to spend, right? I know I want them in my collection. I don't want to wait 6 years for them. I'm gonna buy them the day of. If I miss out, I miss out. I'll just step back and say, okay, it's not worth my time. Like, it's fine. I'll live. It sucks, especially when I have a set of 5 missing one. I completely empathize how, like, I know how it feels when you miss out, when you really, really wanted that one. You were looking forward to it. Oh my God, I missed out. I'm never gonna get that doll. It sucks. Happened to me with this lovely lady. I was very fortunate during D23, the year that these came out. I had someone there that picked up the Giselle and Tiana doll sets for me, and I was so grateful. I wanted them so bad. I was also very lucky because I didn't have enough money at the time. I think I had enough for one of the sets. My mom actually pitched in and got me the other set, and I was so happy because with D23 dolls, you're going to be paying a reseller unless you know a guy or you went to D23. And honestly, with D23 dolls, I don't actually feel as bad about paying the resellers because they paid for the D23 ticket. They probably paid for a hotel room. If they didn't pay for a hotel room, they paid for a parking spot. They did all the traffic. They paid for an Uber, whatever they had to do. They waited in line for God knows how long. And they're only making like $100 or $200. That seems like a steal to me. For me to go to D23, it would be a minimum investment of like $2,000, right? Because I don't live in California. I would feel so much less bad about paying one of those people than I ever would for one of these random Bratz dolls. Just putting that into perspective. I'm not saying you should, but anyway. This doll, I'm an out-of-box collector. That's helpful. If you're an in-box collector, I am so sorry. A little bit harder, right? Because a lot of people that sell things new in box bought it as an investment. They're not gonna let it go for cheaper. They're like, okay, I'll just hold on to it. I like dolls anyway. I'll put it on my shelf in box until it sells on eBay. Good. Like, I'll wait 2 years. I don't care. But this lovely lady, I think this was D23 2019, and I didn't get her until, I'm pretty sure it was 2022. It might have been 2021. So it was, in the grand scheme, it was a good chunk of my life, percentage-wise, that I did not have this doll. A good, like, 10% of my life. And I really wanted her, right? She was actually very cheap, but again, I just did not have the money at the time, so I just had to, like, step back, bow out. I was actually running DoorDash. I had a job, and I was going to school, and I had a business. I was making my doll wings at the time. And I was running DoorDash. If I needed extra money, it was called Favor. It wasn't DoorDash. But it was when I lived in Austin. I would see an eBay lot that I wanted. It was like $300 and it had 6 days left or whatever. I would go run DoorDash. I'm just saying DoorDash because it's easier. I would go do food deliveries until I had the money to buy that thing because they would deposit within 2 days. That was the level I was at to get these dolls. That's why I hate when people are like, oh my God, how do you get these dolls? You're so rich. And I'm like, I wish I was. I wish I was. I'm very fortunate. I'm in a position where I'm making money off of YouTube. I have a stable job. I'm getting paid a salary. I have several means of getting income in. I'm very fortunate and I'm never going to discount that. but it wasn't always that way, and I still can't buy every single doll I want. Of course I can't, because I have to pay for my mortgage, and I have to pay this crazy $400 electricity bill for some reason when I barely use electricity, and all of these stupid little intricacies of life in whatever class you would consider me being in that make it where I can't buy everything that I want. I can't travel everywhere that I want. I can't do everything that I want. I wish I was just rich. And again, I'm not trying to be like, oh, woe is me, feel bad for me, but like, I'm working for these. I'm working hard. Anyway, this doll, I didn't have the money. She was selling for less than she was at D23 because they didn't sell out at D23. They only made 900 of each of these, I think. They did not sell out at D23, and then they were in stock at like there's like a store that only cast members and their families can access, I think. I don't know. I'm not that big of a Disney guy. I just really like the dolls. Well, I like the movies too, but like, you know, I'm more of a doll guy. So these dolls were like, I think they retailed for 100 something, 180 maybe, and they were selling for under that, I'm pretty sure, at these places. And I still couldn't get them, so I was like, whatever, I'll get them eventually. Finally, this doll came up for, I don't remember what it was, but it was under that price. Like, it was under the lowest price that I had seen this doll go for. And I got her. Of course, that wasn't including the prince, but to me, the prince is a random accessory. I don't even display my princes with my Ellies. I display them down on the classic doll shelf. Because I'm just not really into them. Sorry, princes. So he was an accessory anyway. I didn't really want him. And I think she's missing something. Does she have her shoes? Yeah, she doesn't have her shoes, but I don't really care. I'm not looking at her shoes. So yay, a victory. Disney Ellies, that's very hit and miss to have stories like that, but like, I've actually gotten Frozen Fever Elsa for super cheap. I also ended up getting Frozen Fever Anna, conveniently enough, for super cheap. Funny enough, if you didn't buy those 10th anniversary Frozen dolls, my mom got them for me for Christmas, but if you didn't buy those, they're cheaper right now than they were, because everyone had enough of the Frozen dolls. They're over it, and they're not really worth that much anymore, so you can actually get them. Not the original two, good luck, but like Coronation Anna is my like ultimate holy grail doll. Never happening. I've accepted it. If I must have her, I will pay a customizer, I don't know how much, several hundred I'm sure, to make a way better doll than that out of a Frozen Fever Anna, and I will be happy, and it will be fine. And I understand that like paying a customizer isn't the best answer, because I get it that as a doll collector, part of it is like, I have the doll, depending on the type of collector you all are, but you know, like if I had a full set and I had a custom version of this one, I would still love her so much. But once I got the real one, I would display the real one with them, and then I would display the custom elsewhere. And I love customs. I have a ton of customs, but you know, there's something about having like the doll that you've been coveting. I don't know how to explain it, but I have lots of customs and I do love them. And I think it's way better to pay a customizer, because it's at least going back into the community. And you're getting a one-of-a-kind, gorgeous, amazing doll that was customized by someone. I don't know. I just find it so cool, and they're so unique. They look so much different than any other dolls. I don't have any like custom doll clothing really. I would love to get into that at some point, but I don't even know where to start. And with clothing, I won't even pay like $20 for a shirt for myself. Very rarely will I do it. So you're gonna, like, I'm wearing the same clothes that I've been wearing since middle school. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Most of my wardrobe is from high school or middle school. So I'm not, like, I'm a little weird with clothes, especially if it's for dolls. I'll be even more picky about it, but I'll pay more for doll clothes than I will for my clothes. It's just not my thing. I'm just not a clothes guy. I don't know. Can you tell I'm not a fashion person? Have you picked it up yet? But yeah. I hope this video wasn't too all over the place and that my points weren't jumbled, and I'm sorry if anybody is mad. Actually, I'm not. I don't think I said anything that should make anybody mad. If you were mad about something, really think about it, rewatch what I said, and be like, am I mad about the thing that she actually said, or am I mad about something else, and I'm just projecting onto her? Because every time I get an angry comment about something, almost every single time, they have created this different version of what I said, or created this, like, supervillain persona of the person that said the thing, and have launched it back at me, and I'm like, that is not even close to what I said. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I think you're fighting demons, and I'm not the demon. Like, you have something else going on, and you're projecting, and save it. Like, I don't want to hear it. Ew, I will just ban you. I can ban people for my comments. It's magic. I do it all the time. There's comment rules that say that, so don't be surprised. Anyway, this is my space. I can curate it my way. That's it. I just wanted to check in. I think we need this little checkup, because I've only seen this reseller problem get worse, and it's not the reseller problem getting worse, it's the doll collectors buying from the resellers problem getting worse, and I hate to tell you that. Also, this is a huge pet peeve of mine, and I really want to say it. Like, okay, let's sit down. Let's have a discussion. I think it's very necessary. I see people say this doll. No, this is a horrible example, actually. Okay. This doll right here. I don't know what she sells for online. I don't care. This is Goes Hollywood Chelsea. Let's say she sells online for $100. You can get her for $100 right now. I don't think she does. Maybe in box. I think I got mine in box, right? Let's say $100 in box. You could have this doll today. There are people in this community right now, they're new, they started collecting during Rainbow High most likely, that would say, why are you buying from a reseller? And they would bully you. People don't bully you for buying from resellers anymore. Have you noticed that? They used to. But again, like, I don't think anybody should be bullied for this because we all have this FOMO tendency. We all have this envy tendency. We all have this jealousy tendency. Some people have developed the self-control more than others, and that's not some, like, grand moral failing. If you ultimately, even after watching this video, you were like, okay, I don't want to buy from a reseller ever again, and then you end up doing it, you're not evil. You're not, like, some huge grand problem. But if we can at least half the amount of... I don't think my videos do not have that kind of reach. But, like, if we could, like, shave off 20 people, let's say 20 of you guys are like, you know what, you're right, I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm going to wait and see what happens. I don't think that doll was worth $200. She wasn't even worth $60. Let's just say it. No Bratz doll is worth more than $60. I'm sorry, they're not. That genuinely scared me. Well, hello. Anyway. That was a tangent again. So, okay, let's say, I don't remember what I spent for this doll. I remember it being an insanely good deal though. All right, this is a chaotic video, I'm sorry, but tangent over. Moving on. Let's say this doll is on eBay right now for $100. I really wanted her. Let's even say she was new in box. Let's sweeten the deal. This doll, $100 new in box right now. Buy her while you can. And I decided, you know what? I want that doll. She came out in like 2005. I really like her. This is the cheapest one online right now. I'm gonna buy her. There are people in this community right now that would say, stop supporting resellers. You're causing a problem, like blah, blah, blah. I hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to you. But this doll came out 20 years ago. Anyone who held on to that doll in box for 20 years and kept her in great condition and perfect and complete for me, I'll pay what I have to. Or I won't. I'll see the price. I'll weigh my options and I'll buy her or I won't. And that's not a reseller. Sure, maybe that person really did buy that doll 20 years ago to resell, but like, that's an investment. They actually did something. They took up space in their house with it at least. Like, there was something to it. So I don't really consider that reselling respectfully. And there are nuances to this. Like, there's people that thrift resell, but this is another hot take, and I know I've kind of said the opposite in the past, but I've adjusted my mindset on this quite a bit, honestly, just out of maturity and seeing the situations. Thrift reselling, though very annoying, is adding more dolls onto the market online that are not on the market. And the online market is what dictates the price because that's where there's an infinite market that wants to buy the things. And the infinite market is what dictates the price, right? Like if I were to put this exact doll, let's say for $100 in my little store, even if she sells for $200 on eBay, the 25 people who might want Mycene dolls that come into my store in a year might not want to pay $100, and it is what it is. That's why I get so mad when I see prices in person, by the way, that our eBay prices are higher. I'm like, you think that you finally found the one person ever who wants that doll, finally, I've walked into your booth, and you think I'm going to spend the eBay price when I could just get it on eBay for that price? No, I'm the customer. You need to have a lower price to actually attract me, or you need to do the work to put it online. You pick one. But I'm not trying to defend, like, advanced thrift picking here. There's a nuance to this conversation, but when a doll collector who knows their stuff goes into the thrift store and they already have Pinky Koopy doll, let's say, and they know that that doll's worth something on eBay and they buy it, as long as they buy it to sell, let's say, they clean it up, they do something at least, and then they price it at or below the current eBay going rate, I'm not mad. I'm sorry. They just added another one to the market that, again, would not have otherwise ended up on that market. And the more of them that are available, the less of them will sell over time. Like, the less proportionally, I should say, will sell. And the further the prices will drop. So, honestly, I don't think it's a bad thing. there are situations where it is, and there's obviously an extreme to everything, but I'm not really mad at people that are thrift reselling. Honestly, I buy from them all the time. And I know I've said in the, like, I continue to maintain this. I'm not buying dolls at thrift stores to resell. Please don't comment on my videos like, oh my God, you need to buy that. It's worth this much money. If I didn't want it, I'd rather leave it for somebody that wants it. And there was this mentality that I kind of saw the like reasoning with that was like, okay, but if you don't buy it, a reseller will. Not that commonly a reseller is actually going to know what that doll is and know that it's worth something marginally more than they paid for it, and they would have to do the work to clean it up, I would hope. You guys have to stop buying Bratz dolls that have like polypropylene hair that's messed up to here and half of their outfit for $600. Please. I mean, I'm not really like gonna heavily judge you or anything, but if you guys at least like, if you make the sellers have like slightly more standards, they'll stop. And I know I bought the Taylor Swift doll lot for quite a bit and they were messy, but in my defense, they did not look messy in the pictures and it was not as described. But like, we have to let it, like, and some people just have more money to spend or value the dolls differently and are like, okay, that's worth $600 for me, and that's totally valid, and I'm not trying to like dog on you, because again, if that's the price it's going for on eBay and you feel comfortable paying that, by all means. But like, we could at least, as a community, if we start having higher standards, then other people, like the sellers, will have to have higher standards too. They'll have to clean them up a little bit before they sell them. They'll have to take the price tags off before they sell them. They'll have to do something. But anyway, if I see one more tweet bullying people for buying a doll that came out 20 years ago for like $40, I'm going to scream. I'm gonna scream. There is a natural increase in price on things, and sometimes it falls, and sometimes it's ridiculous. Sometimes it's like, why did it raise to that price? That makes no sense. But like, are you faulting the sellers for selling it for the going rate? They didn't set the going rate. They might maintain the going rate, but ultimately, if 45 people list the same doll at the same going rate, the going rate falls. And there's not 45 people who are willing to spend $800 on Bratz Dresden, right? Especially in the condition that she sells for. There's just not. Occasionally, like once a year, someone will do it. So all of these sellers think they've struck gold and will put it up for $800. Just wait and they'll start falling. I swear they will. I've seen it happen 1,000 times. I just wait. I always just wait. I'm just waiting. But some people, it's like, okay, I don't want to wait 2 years for that thing. I want it now and it's worth the extra money to me. And you know what? That is fully valid too. I'm just giving advice from my perspective. And I really do think we could fix this reseller problem. I really do. It just has to be like a community vibe shift. Currently, there is a huge bandwagon of people in the collector community. And I know bandwagon's a harsh term, but from experience, I've seen this happen twice now. When Monster High started getting like boring to people, they didn't, and I'm not saying they have to keep buying them, but they just sold off their collections instantly. So there was a like little period of like 2 years that you could buy any Monster High doll for way under what they were even selling for when they were new. Like, oh, well, in terms of reselling, it was so magical. Like, you could get like Toralei, signature Toralei, who when she was new, like a year or like 2 years old, 3 years old when I got her, I spent $45, sorry. It was 60 Canadian or something, I don't remember. It was around $45 though, which was a lot for me when I was 14. She was missing an arm, didn't have her bag, didn't have her pet. She was missing a lot of stuff, but $45 was a steal at the time. Like, I got her from a forum. It wasn't even like on eBay because it was that far under the eBay price at the time. I don't even think she had her tail. Yeah, she didn't, because she had the moldable tail. Yes, it was the moldable tail. I love that moldable tail. I want 100 of them. Not gonna happen for me, but you know, but that was the market at the time. You could have probably gotten her new in box for $45 if you were on eBay at the right day at the right time, because people were just dumping their Monster High collections. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist was still a little bit active at one point. Like, they were dumping them, and I was not collecting Monster High like that at the time. I was collecting Winx like that at the time, which was a good investment, honestly, but you know. It happens. This bandwagon will pop, and all of these collector dolls that people have kept pristine on their shelf will be all over eBay for super cheap. I don't foresee certain ones ever getting too much cheaper. I see them getting quite a bit cheaper, like Pennywise and some of the Comic-Con ones from 10 years ago. But like Black and White Frankie, the original Ghoulia, Deadfast doll, like Pennywise and the twins, and potentially from what I've seen, I think Beetlejuice and even Greta probably won't get too much cheaper. This one probably won't, but that's just my vibe that I'm getting. I could be totally wrong, but all these bandwagon people that came on, once it's like not really the fad anymore and it's not cool anymore and they just don't really like, they're not having fun with it anymore, they'll leave. And bandwagon isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you hopped on the bandwagon, you had fun, it was your hobby, and you moved on. It's natural to move on. If you're not into something, don't force yourself to be into anything. But you know, there's quite a few people here right now that are not going to be here in a little bit. They're just not. It is what it is. It happens, because not everybody stays in their hobby forever, especially like doll collecting hobby. People that end up still doing this when they're elderly are very like few and far between, not very many. So yeah, I think I said everything. Please, the reason I haven't been doing videos like this, because I love doing videos like this, is just because I'm so sick of people intentionally like twisting my words to get mad at me for things that I didn't say. So just please don't do that. I'm not gonna like be nice about it if you do that. I'm gonna be like really mean and annoyed. And if I match your energy and then you call me a bully, that's on you. That's something you need to work on within yourself. If you don't see content creators as humans that can respond to things and match your energy, something's wrong with you. Anyway, let's see it. Where's my daughter? You wouldn't be mean to her, would you? No? I love you. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Stop it. Don't buy the doll from the reseller. Not worth it. Stop. The doll's not worth it. You wouldn't spend $300 on Dracula or a doll, would you? Tell me you wouldn't. It's not worth it, I promise. Is it worth it? Was it worth $300? You wouldn't buy a Brat doll for $300, would you? Please tell me you wouldn't. At least not a Brat doll that came out yesterday. Please. Please don't buy it. Please don't. Okay, that's it. Bye. I wanted to throw this in that if you buy a doll and you ultimately are like, I don't really like this one, and you want to resell them, it's not really like bad to make a profit or anything. Like, you're selling for the going rate. I can't really fault you for that, and I honestly never would. But let me just say that if you want to keep it in the community, if you want to sell it for a good price, if you want to do a nice thing for another collector, a good way to do that, if you're careful, look up PayPal-backed trades, how to trade with someone where you both have a financial incentive to not screw the other person over, or else you'll lose money. You could trade with someone. So like, I have extra Monster Heist collector dolls because of the strategy we use. I often end up with an extra, and my friends haven't claimed them yet, right? I'm keeping them around because I know if I sell them for a good price, ultimately, I know what's gonna happen. It's happened to me before, like I said in the video. I'm just holding on to them for trades. Like, I just traded with one of my friends recently. I do it in person because I just don't want to. I've never done an online trade that did not end in me being scammed, and I did it once, and it was with my best friend. So, at the time. I don't believe in the trades, but I mean, please don't take that out of context. But you know, like, do a PayPal backed trade. I would feel comfortable doing a trade if it was PayPal backed. Please don't DM me bugging me to trade you stuff. I don't have the Monster High doll you're looking for, I promise. Okay, bye.